A very good evening to one and all. We are happy to have you all once again with us. There are few people who are attending on daily basis. It's so good to see you all attending on daily basis our session. And today we have come up with one more session which is about inculcating empathy among the students. So this session is definitely going to be a wonderful session indeed because the students of this era, they, like lack a bit of empathy and they don't even know the difference between what is sympathy and empathy. So it's very much important that we try to inculcate this skill that is being empathetic towards the very, like extended environment and, people around them. So let us not waste much time with, lots of introduction about it. And I would like to quickly call upon both the resource persons today. That is, we have two wonderful resource persons who have already, like made an image in the family of SNTTC with their wonderful sessions by getting wonderful feedback from all the participants. Like we have our resource person. The first resource person is Mrs. Ashwini Srinivasan, who is going to start with the session, and then followed by we also have Mrs. Meenu Kaur Chawla. Yeah. So over to you, Mrs. Ashwini.
Good evening, everyone. I warmly welcome you all to the session. Okay, our today's topic is empathy. What is empathy? Before going into the introduction and before going into the topic, we have an activity here. So next, I want all the participants to take a pen or a pencil and a paper. So next slide, sir. Yes, I want you people to draw a happy face, sad face, sleepy face, the person one who's afraid, that emoji or face, it's your wish, and an angry face and an hot face. One who feels suffocated or hot, that face. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Take a paper, draw these emotions, and just show it. Have you started doing it? At least any two faces, please draw and show. Yes, Amala ma'am, you can show it. Yeah, it's good. Wonderful, Amala ma'am. Samriti ma'am is showing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but we can't see it, ma'am. Can you lift the paper and show?
Okay, I just do once again. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, ma'am. Yes, Punita, ma'am. Excellent. Okay, can anyone guess why we are talking about these emotions here? Any idea why we are talking about these emotions here? Yes, Archana, ma'am.
Ma'am, it actually shows the mental state of the child when, and we have to guess, like when we enter a classroom as a teacher, the expressions of the children let us know what is the kind of mental situation or position they are in. So accordingly, we have to deal with them, especially small
Excellent,
children.
ma'am. Yes, wonderful. So,
Thank you.
by seeing the student's face, how their mood is, how we are going to talk to them, how we are going to treat them in the class, we are just going to see emotions are related with feelings. Yes, Sudhanshu, sir. Next slide, sir. Okay, here. Empathy is listening with the ears of another, seeing with the eyes of another, feeling with the heart of another. This is empathy. So let us see what is empathy now. So next slide, sir. Okay. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings, emotions, or experiences of another person. It involves putting oneself in someone else's shoe and seeing things from their perspective. So, what is empathy? Not only thinking from our end, we are going to think from another person's end also, like their emotion, what is their feeling, how they are feeling now, in which state of emotion, like how they are happy or sad. So, we are going to think in their place and we are going to support or act with them. So empathy is insight, it is an understanding, and it is an active listening. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It involves recognizing someone else's emotional state, putting yourself in their shoes, and responding with care and compassion. Empathy allows people to connect on a deeper emotional level, fostering understanding and helping to build stronger relationship with others in their uh, negative situations. Next, sir. Okay, here we have a video. Just watch to that video.
Welcome to the fun world for kids! Hello friends! I don't know about you, but I am one of those who cries with movies. Or even if I see someone cry, well, it also makes me want to cry. And just like me, there are thousands of people who are a little more sensitive than others. But do you know why this happens? Well then, I'm going to tell you about empathy, or better, the ability we develop that allows us to understand and share the feelings of other people. Surely you have heard the phrase, put yourself in another's shoes. And the truth is that this exercise is so powerful that by doing it, we can feel and look through the eyes of another person to better understand how they feel and thus be more respectful, kind, and understanding. I will explain to you with some examples. Imagine that you are at school and one of your friends lost his pet and he feels very sad. And when he tells you about his great loss, you feel just as sad as he does, like the pet is yours. Well, that is empathy. When we understand and feel the emotions and feelings of other people and show kindness, no matter if the situation is good or bad, because empathy also occurs when we congratulate and celebrate the achievements of others. When we are empathetic with other people, we can connect in a better way. I will give you 3 tips to practice it with all people. Ask yourself, what is that person feeling? How would you feel if you were that person or the same thing happened to you? Now act. Ask that person, how does it feel? Listen carefully. Whenever you can, help that person. Have you understood what empathy means? Like the video if you understand. And if it is not very clear to you, don't worry, we're going to practice it.
Yes. What did you see in the video? Sir, am I audible?
Very much audible, ma'am.
Yes. What did you people observe in the video? Okay, in the video we saw about what is empathy and how we appreciate the people's success, how we help them when they are sad or when they are in some crying state, something like that. So now let us have a small test that how empathetic we are. So here comes the first question. You can either unmute and you can say the answer, or you can share your answers in the chat box. First question, I can easily tell if someone else wants to enter a conversation. You strongly agree, slightly disagree, and strongly disagree. How to care of others. Yes, Devaki ma'am. The first question is, I can easily tell if someone else wants to enter a conversation. Strongly agree, slightly disagree, and strongly disagree. It is just self-assessment. You are going to assess yourself. Okay, first one, fourth one. Karnal ma'am has strongly agreed. Sudhanshu sir is strongly disagree. And Samriti ma'am is agreeing again. Okay, the second question. I find it difficult to explain to other things that I understand easily when they don't understand in the first time. Strongly agree, slightly disagree, and strongly disagree.
Slightly agree.
Slightly agree. Okay, ma'am. Sudhanshu sir 4. Sanchi Vijan sir, slightly agree. Sudhamati ma'am, strongly agree. Samriti ma'am, slightly agree. Okay, we'll move to the next question. I really enjoy caring for other people. Third question, Sudhanshu sir, strongly agree. Sudhamati ma'am, strongly agree. Shobha ma'am also strongly agree. Devaki ma'am strongly agree. Okay. Here, the fourth question is, I find it hard to know what to do in a social situation. I find it hard to know what to do in a social situation. How about this question? Shobha ma'am slightly agree. Sudhanshu sir strongly disagree. Devaki ma'am slightly agree. Sudhamati ma'am slightly agree. Okay.
Slightly agree, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Fifth
Slightly
one.
agree.
Okay, ma'am. Fifth, people often tell me that I went too far in driving my point home in a discussion. People often tell me that I went too far in driving my point home in a discussion.
I agree, ma'am.
Okay, you agree. Strongly agree. Sudhamati ma'am also agree. Amala ma'am agree. Sudhanshu sir disagree. Shobhavi ma'am disagree. Okay. Sixth question. It doesn't bother me too much if I am late meeting a friend. It doesn't bother me too much if I am late meeting a friend. Slightly disagree, strongly agree, strongly disagree. Okay, strongly disagree, strongly disagree. Okay. The last question. Friendships and relationships are just too difficult. So,
अभी देखिए ना, एक वेबिनार आया था, बोले चलो कर लेते हैं, हाउ टू डेवलप
friendships and relationships are just too difficult. So, I tend not to bother with them. Slightly disagree. Okay. Strongly disagree, slightly disagree. Okay, why these questions are raised here? Slightly disagree. Can anyone guess why these questions are raised here? Slightly disagree. Okay, these questions are given here to self-assess yourself that how empathetic you are. So here my part is getting over. Now I hand over the session to Meenu ma'am. The screen is all yours, Meenu ma'am. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity and thank you, participants.
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am. And I extend a warm welcome to all the participants over here. So by the time sir is sharing the screen, let's have a quick review of what ma'am discussed till now. Ma'am spoke about understanding empathy. And I will connect what ma'am explained with my first slide. Now, here over, we can see certain emotions. We can see the picture of a brain. And then, we can see different kind of two hands holding all the people together. Being empathetic is a combination of all these three things. Let us understand it a little better. Now, it's not about thinking. Like sympathy is all about, okay, I'll keep myself at position one when it comes to pain, when it comes to pleasure, when it comes to, get the maximum of a thing. I'm going to keep myself first because, people sometimes there is a great or a grave mistake between understanding self-love and being sympathetic. So most of the people, when they are over sympathizing with themselves, they claim it to be the self-love. But dear team, self-love is not about feeling sympathetic for yourself. It is it's absolutely a different notion. So in today's session, we are trying to bridge the gap which lays between sympathy and empathy. So when I talk about my very first picture, I'm talking about taking into consideration the thoughts, the emotions, and the feelings of everyone else, not only putting me into shoes of someone else, but kind of, just taking the position. There is a very, very strong, there's a very strong practice in NLP in which we make the person actually visualize what the other person is going through. So when we take a move from being sympathetic to empathetic, we have to unlearn and relearn many things. So the next upcoming slides are just an attempt to make you understand what we need to unlearn and what we need to relearn. Next slide, please, sir. Yes, because ma'am has already spoken a lot on empathy. I'll be talking about how many types of empathies are there. See, normally, there are broader categories, but we will be taking, I have chosen these 3 empathies, which are the most important element of our classrooms. Talking about first, we'll discuss the details in the next slide, but let's have a quick look on this. Cognitive empathy, emotional empathy, and compassionate empathy. Now, how are these different? Why are they important? Let's have a look into the next slide for getting a clear view of this. Next slide, please, sir. Now, when we talk about cognitive empathy, now, because we understand this, cognition is all about the thought process. That means when I am empathetic enough, not only to understand, but acknowledge the thought process of someone else, or acknowledge, and not only acknowledge, but accept the thoughts of someone else, I have already started walking on the path of being empathetic at a cognitive level. That is point number 1. Coming to point number 2, see, a very common example we use. Can I see some faces, please? It will really, boost my morale if few of my participants can turn on their videos. Now, I was talking about, if I draw right now, if I draw 6, or probably 6 is drawn between 2 people, that means both of them. And if I ask them what is written, probably, which is 6 from my end, is 9 from my end. None of us is wrong. Cognitive empathy helps us to understand, because see, the basic fact is nothing is completely right, nothing is completely wrong. As we say, no complete black, no complete white, it's always gray which speaks. So when I'm talking about understanding someone else's perspective, I am keeping my ego aside. I am keeping my ruling factors, my behavioral ruling factors aside, accepting the perception of someone else, not only accepting, but welcoming. Now, team, please try to understand over here, there is a difference between accepting and welcoming. Can anyone tell me what is that one basic difference between accepting and welcoming? Either in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and answer.
Ma'am, accepting when you just follow what is being said, and welcoming means you are following it indeed.
Yes, wonderful. Welcoming is volunteer action, wherein accepting is, yes, accepting is agreeing to, but it is more of involuntary. I have to accept this because the situation says this. I have to accept this, otherwise I have to bear the repercussions of the same. So cognitive empathy helps us in reaching from accepting to welcoming. And it also helps us in acknowledging and respecting the feelings of someone else. Now, normally what happens? Yes, courteous enough. Wonderful, Shrishti ma'am. Wonderful. Now, when I talk about feelings, see, feelings is nothing but expression of an overwhelming emotion which is going on in me. Most of the time, the reason for dispute or reason for not being able to understand the other person is just because we focus only on the tone. Which tone is ruling? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it happiness? The emotion behind that, is that I call it as that player or that backstage person who's never given an importance. So when I'm talking about cognitive empathy, you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to bridge that gap which separates the stage performers and the backstage performers. So this is what cognitive empathy enables me to do. Again, when I'm talking about cognition, I cannot keep emotions aside, because what we think become our emotion. And that is what the second type of empathy talks about. When, see, I can be sad with one of, yes, acceptance is in compulsion. Wonderful. I'm so happy to see so nice answers getting, right? So see, as I was talking about, someone comes and someone says me, if I see a poor person walking on the road, or let's say I am a dog lover. Every stray dog is dear to me. And at times it becomes a reason of clash at my home, because I cannot see them suffering with hunger. I cannot see them, suffering because of cold or heat or rain. I have to open the doors of my house and welcome them in. Now, I'm not expressing that I'm so mahan and you should do this and that. Why am I sharing this? Because this happens with most of us. When we are walking on the road, we see many strays roaming around, right? For a moment, we feel bad, we feel sad for them, and we actually want to do something for them. But, out of sight, out of mind. But empathy, especially emotional empathy, helps us to clear that notion. Out of sight, but still in mind. That is what the beauty of emotional empathy is about. And when I'm talking about understanding the emotion, how can I keep compassion aside? This is what my third type of empathy speaks about. Understanding the circumstances, not the behavior. Most of the time, it happens in our classroom. XYZ is a group of children who are constantly given a title. These are, these are the backbenchers. These are the distractors of the class. They do not let the other children study in the class, because we are already, see, I'm not blaming any of the teachers sitting here that we do it on purpose. We have to, take so many things parallelly into consideration. We have to finish the syllabus. We have to take care of the time. We have to tailor-make the lessons and then put up in front of the children. And then there comes a challenge that there's a group of children who are doing anything just in order to distract me. Now, when and how compassion helps us in understanding this behavior. Compassion is that key which opens the lock of the reason behind that. When I'm compassionate enough to understand that this child is behaving a particular way, probably he is going through some pain. There is something missing. There's some element missing in his life. And if I have to solve that jigsaw puzzle, I have to find out that missing element. And when I develop compassionate empathy, I can do that easily. That is what, not only understanding the perspective, but also rhyming, coming in alignment with the thought process and the reasons behind. Here, a little, hypothetical things also take place. XYZ is a child in my class. I'll share one live example of one of the students of my class. He is in class 12, commerce student. And trust me on this, it's a challenge for all the teachers to make that boy sit in the class, let the teacher teach. And we are always into this, at least you should also grab something. And trust me on this, every day the classroom scene is an argument breaking between some or the other teacher and that boy. Thankfully, I'm the only teacher whom he argues but still settles to sit down in the class and listen to what is being said by me. He never brings the books. He never brings the notebooks. He is the one who has never ever, like it's September going on, right? And not for a single day has the boy shown me his English literature notebook so that I can check. And many of the teachers come and say, ma'am, you know what, you are a coordinator, so you take advantage of your position. So I tell them, sorry, it's not that I'm taking advantage of my position and I'm letting that situation go, but I'm giving the chance to that boy to come up. I know I mean, when I spoke to him, I got to know many factors. He comes from a family in which, there's just one language. The child is not listening, give him 2 tight slaps and all will be fine. So since childhood, he has been raised like this, either my way or highway. So now he has become so accustomed to that highway strategy that he does not want to come to my wala point. So that is why did I discuss this example? So that we have a better understanding of compassionate empathy. And we've been talking a lot about perspective, perception of the other person. This is the story. This live example is what makes compassionate empathy very, very clear to all of us. Till here, anyone has any question or any doubt, please feel free to ask. If no, then show me a thumbs up so that, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Accepting students for who they are, not rather than, we as teachers, no, not we as teachers, and we do not do it willingly, but we actually have to, we are given, no, what can you make out of that child? So if I'm dealing only with what can I make of that child, I will never be able to develop compassion. So I have to find out a midway which combines who and what together and serves me a beautiful solution to that problem. Can we move to the next slide, please, sir? Now, a leap of faith. We all have heard of this. So from sympathy to empathy, what does it take? Just one simple step. Identifying my emotions to understanding your emotions. Too simple, yet very deep. Excuse me. Too simple, yet very deep words. I can identify each and every emotion in me, but here is a catch in this. Can we just have some faces lit up on the screen so that I can discuss this, because it's a very intense thing which I want to discuss with all of you. If I can see some faces on my screen. Okay, if not faces, wonderful. Thank you so much, Samriti ma'am. Now, how many of you are sure of this, that you identify each and every emotion of yours? You can show me a thumbs up. You can write in the chat box, or you can unmute and speak. How many of us claim that I register each of my emotion? And that too correctly. Let me see how many answers do I get.
I'm Samriti here, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I attend your pain relieving session also. After that, I just go through all the emotions. Now I understand what emotion is there and what is the situation and what is the emotion. How can I control my emotions? So now I am understanding my emotions. Later on, I am not understanding the emotions of this. Now I understand the students' emotions also.
That's
And
so
I just go
beautiful,
through
ma'am.
it.
Sorry, say again, please. I missed it.
That session is very good. I am only the student there. I think so. I'm the one student who attend that class. And after that, there are so many students in my class. I think so, 2 and 3 students. I do this practice with those students. And now these students love me a lot. When I enter the class or a school, they run and come to me and hug me for this.
That's
So
what
now
you have touched their emotion. That is what. I'm so happy for getting such a positive feedback. And see, right now, when Samriti ma'am was speaking, I was looking constantly into her eyes. I was all ears to her, just because rather than, rather than just feeling what my emotions are, I was I was connecting more to her emotions at that time. And this is what the beauty of being empathetic is all about. When I say I understand each and every emotion of mine, I'm sadly mistaken, because most of the time there's always a kind of, we call it as disguise. A very common example I'll discuss. Have you ever seen children of your class getting cranky before the lunch begins? How many of you have experienced this? Children getting really cranky and cribbing for nothing or distracting for no obvious reason. Even some days, the intelligent children, the children who are called as the front seaters, they also do this. How many of you have observed this?
I observe this, ma'am.
Wonderful. And can anyone tell me what is the reason behind this? Okay, please, ma'am. I cannot see your name. It's only Pushpalata, ma'am. Yes. Please answer, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'll put my video on. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there are most of the times, probably sometimes, they're bored with the lesson. That's why they're showing that reaction. And sometimes they don't want to, they've, had enough of studying some days, no, they don't have any games period in between or any art period or anything, so there is no break between the study periods. So that is when they get really agitated. And sometimes there are some children who have less attention span. So when you can see that they don't want to sit and study anymore. And one of those times when they find the topic very difficult or they do not like your teaching style, they're not finding it engaging.
Thank you for
Enough for them.
mentioning so many reasons. And here I've got one more beautiful answer. They may be hungry. No, I mean, wonderful, Jyoti ma'am. Please go ahead. I would like to hear what's your say on this.
Sorry, I was also saying the same thing, that they might be hungry, and especially now with a child of my own who's troubling me right now. We see this with younger children more because they are less in, like, they understand their emotions less, so everything comes out as just a tantrum. With older kids, I think they learn how to manage the emotions. So hunger does play a role. Let's face it, even we get a little cranky when we are hungry, so we can expect it from a child, right?
Wonderful. So here is a new term, no? It's hangry. Being angry because of hunger. So what, like, as I said, I got an answer, hungry. Yes, they need a break, but they're not only hungry, they're angry because of hunger. So over here, all of us, I mean, had I been at the first place, I would have said, come on, you're cribbing for no obvious reason. It's the start of the day. And sometimes we see this during the assembly also. Children are not attentive. They will do something or the other to distract. And we get angry. Why are you so agitated in the morning? Probably I'm not able to identify the emotion, and it happens with me. When I am hungry, I am angry. I need my food, right? So this is what, when I'm able to label my own emotion, only then I can be understanding emotion of XYZ, whosoever is coming my way. So when we take a leap from being sympathetic to empathetic, the key is one, understanding, naming, and, first it begins with identifying, naming, and understanding the core element, emotions. This is all what is, the crux of all what we have been discussing so far. Can we move to the next slide, please, sir? Yes, here is a small video for all of you. Let's have a quick look into the video and then we'll discuss a little further. Let's see what power does empathy hold.
मेरे पाप गए नहीं सर, वो बेटी का टूर्नामेंट था ना आज.
Empathy is the ability to understand and experience the feelings of another. It's a learnable skill that positively affects your relationships. Here are 6 ways empathy plays an essential role in human interaction. 1. When you understand and share the feelings of others, it makes people feel good. Empathy helps you celebrate others' success and enables you to provide emotional support in times of need. Compassion makes people feel validated and valued, healing past traumas in individuals, families, and communities. 2. Empathy dissolves conflicts. Understanding the perspectives and emotions of others alleviates frustration, blame, and defensiveness, clearing the path for conscious negotiation and compromise. 3. Empathy improves communication. When you effectively interpret a person's reaction to what you're saying, you can tailor your message to be more persuasive and considerate. Plus, empathy fills the gaps of people's stories so you understand more fully and the other person feels more deeply heard. 4. Empathy fosters a sense of belonging by bonding people together. In contributing to these close relationships, you feel valued and give value to others. Having common motivations and goals helps you thrive. 5. Empathy improves mental health. It helps individuals feel needed, heard, and supported, as well as reduces isolation and loneliness, all essential for emotional wellness. 6. Empathy promotes global understanding and peace. Empathy helps you appreciate different cultures and perspectives, reducing prejudice and discrimination. Empathy enhances relationships, improves communication, fosters compassion and belonging, and contributes to both personal and societal well-being. Here's how to improve your skills in empathy. Practice on something low stakes. Watch a movie with a friend and after discuss the feelings and the motives of some of the characters. Use your imagination. Think of a scenario and imagine how going through that would make you feel. Get inspired by kind people in your life. Observe the words and actions they use and notice how it makes those around them respond. And finally, take a step back. Step out of the chaos of your emotions so they don't rule you. That larger perspective will help you understand others. Empathy is a skill that can be cultivated and should be encouraged in all aspects of your life.
I request you to stop screen sharing. I want to interact with all the participants for a while. Can you stop screen sharing, please?
Empathy is the ability.
Okay. We watched a video, right? There was one statement, can I have some faces, please? That would really boost up my morale because this is something very deep which I want to discuss, right? What was that one factor which brought, Calcutta case, we all have heard of it, right? What was that one driving factor which brought all the people together? What is that one factor?
Compassion and empathy.
Okay, fine. What else? What's that one binding factor which brings the people close in just like a magic? What's that one factor?
Ma'am, a feeling that, where you are able to understand how the other person feels.
Okay.
Love and care, ma'am.
Hanji, sorry.
Love and care.
Love and care. Okay. What if I say the word is,
Ma'am,
sorry, please, sorry for intervening. Okay.
ma'am, in this case, I feel it's injustice also.
Okay, fine, wonderful. So from injustice, what is that one feeling which arises?
Anger.
Anger, okay. And from anger comes one thing which lingers on forever.
The bonding, people coming together because of it.
Pain. Yes. When we look into all these things, there was just one factor, pain, which brought so many people together. What was the pain? If today it was XYZ, tomorrow it can be me also who can become victim of the same. Coming to second example, today only, not today, but day before yesterday, I was reading about a NEET aspirant who cracked NEET exam, a sick boy who was living in, I guess, not reminded of the place exactly, but the boy committed suicide. and everyone is talking about it. Why? The factor is pain. So compassion, compassion is kind of thing which becomes inbuilt in us when we are connected with the strongest factor called pain. Trust me on this. Pleasure, happiness, all of these things bring people to this same platform, but they do not make the people stay for a very long period of time. But pain does. We all have heard of that very famous king who stopped killing people after having, I'm giving you the hints, I want the answer from all of you, who stopped wars and, left all kind of this war and everything just because he couldn't bear the dead bodies around. Who was that one person?
That is
Ashoka?
Ashoka.
Ashoka,
Yes.
degree.
So
Ashoka,
it
the
was,
great.
again, the factor is what? Pain, right? So compassion is all about understanding, defining, and acknowledging that it's not only me who is in pain, but someone else is there who is a sufferer at a higher level than what I am suffering right now. But you know what the problem is? We are so engrossed in our own. I always believe in, we have a big pot brewing, and what's like that, what's the broth in that? The broth is my own pain, my own sufferings. And I know most of you must be thinking, ma'am, it's really easy to say than to practice. Yes, completely agree that it won't come overnight. It takes practice, it takes patience, it takes time. But when we practice it on a regular basis, it's one of the most beautiful things when you say, okay, come on, one simple sentence, I know what you're going through. Does that not boost our morale? If someone very close or probably someone unknown, I have seen many conversations striking up to friendship when this when this sentence comes in, I understand what are you going through. Have we not developed so many friendships in our school because of this one sentence?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Have we not
Yes.
seen winning hearts of so many children around just with this one sentence? I hope I'm making sense to all of you sitting here. I'm sorry, but I cannot admire. I cannot, I cannot take my eyes away from Pushplata, ma'am. A beautiful smile you have, ma'am. And I will really be happy if you can share your thoughts with me because you're constantly smiling. So I would just want to know, is it like, am I able to make any difference to your whatever we were discussing? I'll really be thankful to hear that, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am, absolutely. That's what reminds me of my school days also, because we get more connected to people who understand what you're going through. And I also see it a lot in my students also. They all cluster people who are in, who are understanding each other. They all come together and they're able to help each other out better. And they make better students also because they are able to pull each other out of all those things. And a lot of things you're saying, I feel that in the school when I go there and I see the children going through all these things. And I think in our times, we were not connected to the phones and digital things so much. So we were having friends at home and talking there. But these children in school are still talking about these things that they don't have friends at home. Most of them, ma'am, because they are just directly going from school to tuitions, etc. They don't have this time for interaction. They don't have time for this empathy which you are talking about. And that is why most of them are so really, really very lost. And I think we really need not only need to feel it, we need to teach them to have empathy a lot. And I think this session which you are giving us is one very important thing. I think we need to give it to our children. Uh, and I think sixth grade on onward, they all need to know empathy, ma'am. Otherwise, a lot of, what I can say is these children are having a lot of pride in themselves. They don't understand that there are other people who have who are better than you, who have more talent than you, who can do better than you. All that really stems, all this restlessness, I think, stems from from not understanding the other person. And I really feel like you should give it more to we should have such sessions for our children also.
Exactly. See, like when you were speaking, no, I was remembered of Gautam Buddha. Not everyone, like see, we all these days, especially we are like the families have shrunk just to one
Yeah.
child or two children. So these are the days when we raise our children like Raja Babu and Meri Ladli Bittiya. This is the phrase which we hear on and off, so right. But
Absolutely.
and that is no, we aren't those Gautam Buddhas who are going to feel one day, oh my God, the world is comprised of pain only and not of pleasure,
Absolutely.
because we keep our children confined to pleasure only. So I completely agree with you, ma'am. Letting the children taste pain is equally important as we are, serving them with the platters of pleasure. This is what the
Absolutely.
crux is all
And
about, right?
especially the other's pain, ma'am, they have to understand that I need to be, emotionally aware of what the other person is feeling, whether the child doesn't want me to be, encroach their personal space. These children don't know anything about it anymore, They just know themselves, because you're right, because the parents, as parents, we are pampering our children so much that they think that they are the only person who's important in this world, and nobody other than them is important. That's why we are lacking that feeling these days.
I'm so
Over to
happy
you. Thank you
like
so
you are
much.
in alignment with what I said. And, really your thoughts made a great difference on all of us. I'm so blessed to have such interactive participants. Like anyone else would like to share any thoughts on the
Thank you.
same? Anyone else? I think I've got some truly said, ma'am. I think Mr. Rajesh Kumar was complimenting you, Pushplata, ma'am, when you were speaking. And that says a lot that, yes, you have spoken one of the most influential things over here. So with this, we finish up with our presentation. And before we come up to the end of the session, may I request all the participants to turn on the camera so that we can have one group photograph with all of you. Just one virtual photograph. I will really be happy. I'm ready with my camera. And let me see. Thank you so much for all those who are turning on the cameras. We are actually blessed to have such interactive participants, and thank you for being so supportive. That, this is what makes our day as resource persons. Thank you so much. Nandini ma'am, Asma ma'am, can I have a look at your lovely faces, please? Okay, so are we all ready with a great smile? Are we? Thank you so much. Thank you. And with this, we end our presentation. And a heartfelt thanks from SNTTC and the core members. All the stage is yours now. All the screen is yours, Ravi sir, now. And then lastly, we'll be talking more.
Yeah, so before winding up the session, I would like to request you to give a glimpse about the Train the Trainer course as well, ma'am.
Sure. So like today, the confidence which you see in me, or the way with which we all are able to handle so many people, is only the credit goes to none other than Ravi sir. Thank you, Ravi sir, for bringing up so many beautiful programs like Train the Trainer. And I am his student for soft skill, and I'm a student for becoming a master trainer as well. And when I say, or when I speak about sir's courses, trust me, it's not value for money. It's added value to your money. Trust me on this. I mean, see, there are two types of people whom we come across. One are the teachers, the other are the mentors. And then there are the coaches. So sir has actually reached to that level where sir is not, I will not call him as a mentor, but I'll call him as a coach. Invisible hand holding sir gives us. And yesterday only, I won't hide it, when we were being loaded with homework, I was the one who said like, come on, sir, you're burdening us with so much of the homework. But, then later when I sat late at night and when I was doing my work, I was able to realize, oh my God, I never knew that I can stretch my boundaries to that level. I can find out so many things. See, I won't say that research is all done by someone else. Yes, definitely being students, we have to study, we have to find out, but yes, how to put that thing, no one else but Ravi sir is the best one to tell us. So thank you so much, Ravi sir, for bringing us with such wonderful opportunities.
Thank you, ma'am. But all the credit goes to all the people who are doing the course and who are coming up with the webinars. I am doing nothing. It's just the course. Yes. So yeah, thank you for that wonderful, I should say, for the wonderful information that you have given to all the participants about the session, about the Train the Trainers course. Dear participants, those who are not in our webinar group, I have shared the link of our webinar group of SNTTC in the chat box. You people can join. And I really appreciate both the resource persons who have made this webinar really an interactive one. And today I could really feel how people were, like I've heard Samriti ma'am speaking, because Samriti ma'am has attended several of our webinars, and I could really feel, like today we have had only 30 participants. There are days when we are having 100 participants, 80 participants. But I really felt that today's group of people are the people who really wanted to learn something from today's session. That's the reason we have had constantly that 27 or 28 people. So I wish this 28 or 27, people differently bring about a change, like differently at the same time, uh, like, as a mandate, they will definitely bring a change in the students in their classrooms. So empathy is a very much, it's a very much needed skill in the 21st century, I should say, because many of the people are lacking empathy towards, even towards their own siblings or, parents and all. We don't see people are really empathetic. So let us all try to nurture this skill among our students and give the universe a better generation in future. And those who wish to grab a certificate, like always, you can share, you have to send 50 rupees via GPay or PhonePe or Paytm to this number, 9908925730. This is my number. You can do GPay or PhonePe or Paytm. And along with that, kindly send a screenshot along with your name. If you're particular about Miss, Mr. and Mrs., all such sort of things, kindly mention so that we can, give you a proper certificate the way you want. And let me tell you, you will be getting the certificate within 24 hours. It's not that, like night you are sending the money and by morning. It's not possible that always we send as soon as possible. 24 hours we need, because they're all, like manually made. So that's all for today. I hope it's been a fruitful session. And those who wish to join the Train the Trainer course, we have an ongoing batch. Like you people can ping me on my number. It's the same number, so that we can move further. Like we would love to have you all in our upcoming sessions as well. Thank you. Have a wonderful,
May I say
night.
something, sir? May I say something?
Yes,
please.
yes, Samriti ma'am.
Ma'am, there is a 7 keys in this empathy, and you really make our day better and my night also. Now this is a good night also. So there are the eye contact. I think so. There is eye contact, and your facial impressions are there. Your posture, your tone of voice, hearing the whole persons and giving your response. I really love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
This
Thank
is
you.
for Ashwini ma'am also. And
Thank,
sir also.
thank you. What I
Thank you.
believe, ma'am, more than words
Thank you,
is the
Samriti
gestures
ma'am.
to speak.
Ma'am, I'm a Hindi teacher. I'm have difficulty to speak in English because
कोई
59.
बात
I'm
नहीं
now
मैम, हम
59.
हिंदी में नहीं मैम, हम हिंदी में इंटरेक्ट करेंगे. मेरे सारे फ्रेंड्स जितने भी यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, सबको इतना हिंदी समझ में आता
हिंदी
है.
आती है.
आप हिंदी में बात कीजिए.
That's why it's more difficult. That's why I'm very later. I practice myself seeing your webinars, and now I have this ability to speak in English also. No, now I am in the convent school here, but now sister is very much impressed with me, and she want me to take the sessions in the school also.
Oh, that's really great, ma'am. That's really
And
great.
moreover, Hindi is our Raj Bhasha, so we have to
Exactly.
promote it.
And
Yes.
I'm okay with Punjabi also, ma'am. I'm a Sardarni. I'm a hardcore Sardarni. So you can communicate in Punjabi as well. No worries with language.
I'm talking Sanskrit also. I'm teaching the foreign students Sanskrit.
Very poor in that. Sorry. Very, very poor in that. So anyone who's a Sanskrit expert over here. But ma'am, आपकी thoughts बहुत valuable हैं हम सबके लिए, and बिल्कुल भी hesitate